I think everyone has to be an individual and has to be okay with that, and they shouldn't believe that they have to change in order to get something which is so fundamental. You know, people dating and intimacy and having romantic relationships is extremely important to people. And unfortunately, a lot of dating advice tells you you have to change stuff, you have to do stuff. You know, it actually removes people from who they are. And I think that's an upsetting message. I think actually what's right for one person is going to be entirely wrong for the other one. And in fact, we should be preaching a message that's based on understanding. So we kind of get the matrix and understand, okay, so you approached that woman in a bar and she turned her back to you. Why did she do that? You know, can you come from a place where you empathize with her and understand why she has that response to what you've done? And then can you also develop ways that you can get better at expressing yourself? Because lots of people are very restricted by what they think they can and can't do, particularly in a place like London. And they also often don't feel like they have the language or that they're able to say what they really want. So a lot of the time I'm helping people to articulate who they are, and I'm trying to preach that people don't have to change. And in fact, that message that you have to change, you have to be something or do something is entirely wrong.
Because the classic pickup line and stuff is this: okay, let's get your wardrobe sorted out and make you. I don't
do transformational stuff. Okay. That makes me. I think, you know what? If you've got good self-esteem, if your life's in order, you're gonna be conscious of your diet. You're gonna work out a bit in a way that suits you, and you're probably gonna, shower and groom and care a bit about your personal, appearance, because that's just what people who've got their house in order, like they have a tidy flat, that's just what they'll go for. Suddenly saying that, you need to lose 100 pounds and let me just give you a complete wardrobe transformation is just, I think that we're in entirely the wrong ballpark there when we're talking about people making a change in their lives. Sometimes a bit of physical change can send a strong message to you that, right, now is a new time, it's a new era, perhaps my life is going to be different. Perhaps that psychological message is good, but I don't think it's where we should be putting our emphasis in any area of our lives.
That's one of them. The other one is basic approaching. A lot of guys don't even go up to girls and don't talk to girls, and so they have no flow unless it's online, and that's a whole nother piece. But a lot of guys are, the basic day game obviously is making a cold approach, and the basic old school pickup stuff was obviously it's all approach related. So that's another one, kind of a pickup 101. What do you say as far as that stuff?
Well, I think people need to learn how to communicate with one another. Again, like in London particularly, we have a culture that we really respect individual privacy and personal space, but to such an extent that we're no longer communicating with one another. We feel awkward about speaking or engaging with the world around us. And I think that's there's a lost skill there that's actually worthwhile redeveloping. I don't think it's about wandering around trying to pick up as many women as possible. I think that's a ridiculous goal for anybody. But I think actually developing a language that you feel comfortable in a respectful way with going and approaching someone is positive. And I also don't just teach men to approach, I help women as well, because I think it's also ridiculous that women feel that the best that they can do is maybe hold eye contact and smile at a guy, and that's as far as they're allowed to go before they're coming on too strong. Right. So again, I'm trying to work on both with men and women to get them to engage with one another more and show them that that's okay. And there's a third way of doing this, which doesn't have to offend anybody and isn't tantamount to anyone assaulting or infringing on anyone else, and in fact promotes positive social values instead. Okay, the third part of that, and I didn't even break this down into 3 sectors, but I was thinking, appearance, approach, and then the next one I think that a lot comes up is I guess that's the game afterwards, or the communication, or the neediness, or turning the girl off once you do that, and that whole piece. That's always something that I remember the pickup guys were like, we have to address this. What do you do about that part? Because that's a crucial part of, I guess, building relationships, right? Right. I think, the thing is, I always think when your head is in the right space, when you approach dating, you make a lot of these decision points and these communication points naturally. I don't believe in teaching people to parrot outlines or learning things by rote, because that is basically sending a message that how you're communicating generally isn't good enough. And you have to learn a script in order for people to like you, which again erodes people's self-esteem rather than building it. If someone is in a really good space mentally in terms of how they're addressing a relationship, you know what? If they walk up to a woman, they start talking to her, and she's not friendly, or she's not engaging, or there isn't that personal connection, you should be able to walk away in good peace thinking, you know what, we just weren't that compatible. Or, you know what, I really like women that are open and friendly, and, you know, for whatever reasons today, that isn't what I saw exhibited with her, and so I'm going to try and find someone who's a more compatible match for me, rather than endeavouring in this weird people-pleasing cycle of trying to create a perfect model for an interaction where you will never be rejected, you know, that will just somehow short-circuit that loop, and that's unnatural.
Which is the classic game theory for men.
Yeah.
Is that you do this, you approach this way, you dress this way.
And then a woman is like a slot machine, and it's just not, it's that she's a woman,
right.
you know, and you can't predict that on live, and it's wrong to even attempt to do it.